Que de faire? It's Matt and Brad
Hey guys.
doing stuff and things, ready to talk about your lists. In fact,
Prepared.
I have to say we have looked through, we have made decisions. We've made no decisions actually. We just got prepared on what we were going to say. So let's talk. We chose, you chose some difficult lists this week. You're like, it's my first time on Fix My List, and I want the most difficult challenges we could possibly do for this day.
You got to start go wild, haven't you?
I mean, sometimes you got to go big. Got to go big. So I'm all right with this. So let's talk. I love this. This is from Nurgle's Favorite Priest, and I titled it for him, Aberrant, because it says at the bottom, aberrants are non-negotiable. So, because, well, if aberrants weren't non-negotiable, I would have dropped the aberrants.
Oh, I would have slapped you for that.
I know.
I actually really like this.
I was just about to say.
Kind of idea.
I like when he's going all in. I actually like a lot of this on this. So let's start with what we got. We're doing Bladed Cog, which I don't. Tell me what you think he's got Bladed Cog for, because I was looking over that and I was just not understanding why I wanted Bladed Cog in here. We got the 6-up invuln.
Bladed Cog is the go-to for the aberrants because it gives you the Xenophon Bionics for the 5+ invulnerable save. It is 2 CPA unit, so it's quite a lot of input up front. And it also gives you a really nice spell, which is an aura, which is a bonus. So if against damage 1, which because all your aberrants reduce damage by 1, you get +1 to your save.
Man, you're a genius, man. This is why I bring you on here.
It gets even better though, because once you stack that with cover and the strat for +1 save when you have the benefits of cover, and that gets interesting because even stuff that ignores like light cover, etc., if you're getting defensible, you're still getting a benefit of cover. So you can get the aberrants with +1 save for cover, potentially +1 from the strat, +1 from the spell, giving them +3 to their armor save.
I can take that.
Yeah. So they are surprisingly tough.
Well, let's go through the list. We're Bladed Clog, we're Sanctus. We've got the Magus with the Might from Beyond's Psyche Stimulus, which I love. Might from Beyond, such an amazing power. We got the Primus, he's the Warlord with his Warlord trait of Single-Minded Obsession. We got 3 units of Chaff, Acolyte Hybrids. The 3 big boy aberrant units. The Biophagus with the Alchemist Familiar, a Nexos. I kind of love the Nexos just because of the fact that I love the idea of buffing someone from line of sight. You're like, those boys over there, I think they're going to be inspired by me. And they're like, I don't even know if they know you're there, buddy. Yeah, they can see me. See, I waved to them. They were pumped up. Then we've got 8 Pure Strain Gene Stealers, 2 sets of 2 Ridge Runners, and 5 Atlan Jackals. So, obviously, aberrants are non-negotiable. So we're going to, and I like that because we're going big dog on that. What I would like to see if we're going big on 3 big units, though, I'd like to see a little more trash to help us in the beginning.
I agree with that. I think 310s are a fantastic core. I've been looking at lists recently with 3 8s, 3 9s potentially. It's just dropping 3 gives you 10 acolytes. So just that little bit does give you a lot more.
I'd like to just be able to take my secondaries just a little bit easier. And also I kind of want to have probably 2 units of Jackals just do shenanigans, especially right now with the Tyranids being such a menace. I need something that's going to stand and move block those Maliceptors and those big walking bugs and stuff like that. I want them away from me for a turn or two. Also, I really like the Jackals, weirdly into Tau, because I think that you can cut off angles from Tau a lot easier than people think. Tau are still unbelievably viciously tough, but if you can stop them from getting to where you want them, especially against this army, if I can just get one turn where I'm not getting shot by Tau, I'm not getting psychic by the Maliceptors, I think that these aberrants can do serious damage, but I need a turn or two to get there.
So I think a bigger problem with the Tyranids is actually if people run into Harpies, because they just run around this army. And I played a similar game with Nids against this about 2-3 weeks ago, and the aberrants were kind of just like, there's something
Damage and damage 4 is no bueno.
Yeah, it's like even with -1 damage and invuns and feel no pain, you were getting 3-4 a turn with the flyovers, etc. as well, and that adds up a lot. But,
so in this list, do we want more?
I think you want less characters to start.
Probably, I just want more stuff because I want to score my points. I need to block. I need the things that are tops in the meta right now are, you got your Tyranids, you've got your Tau, you've got some form of pointy ears flying around, and I think we just need more stuff to interact or at least push away that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so I think this is interesting when you look at the top because you need to know the kind of terrain this is playing on.
Yeah.
If it's boards like we're seeing at the Dallas Open this weekend, 'cause I've seen some of those on the stream, this list it's going to struggle because it doesn't have those places to hide and run into.
If we're looking at FLG, like their player place terrain, I think this is going to work way better. Yeah. Or even the GW terrain. I think GW terrain is amazing for this list.
Yeah, because it has all that combat. But the Sanctus it's one that I like, but I'm not always completely sold on. I think it depends on if you have that objective sat at the back in the open, fantastic. If not, do you really need it? Especially with the nerf to the indirect as well at the moment.
True.
Magus, yep. I'm assuming there's the infinite relic on there for the denies.
I might have missed stuff. I was a little typing these out very quickly.
Yeah, that may have been on me.
So I'm sorry if I missed a couple things on these. I want to put them up as quickly as possible and get in there and dig in to the nitty gritty.
Like the Primus is a strange one because I'm not sure what it's actually list.
Well, I'd rather have the thing is that if you take a Patriarch, obviously he's way more expensive,
But there's no core.
True on that. Did I just lose a pick here? What just happened here? You are frozen in time, my man. I don't like that at all.
Oh dear. Oh yeah, I've just noticed on. Oh, what a lovely face that's frozen on as well.
Oh, you look like you're very curious. You're a curious lad in that picture. We still have your lovely voice. We just have a little lack of movement for you. I'll see if that fixes itself. Either that, or I'm going to replace you with a delightful picture of something, and then you can just talk over it because you currently look like you're well in thought of what you would like to talk about.
Oh, so I can see that, but hopefully it'll kick back in. If not, you've always promised to make me a unicorn.
I can make this happen like almost immediately. So
the Primus. In this list, because his buffs are for core units, none of the aberrants are. The Ridge Runners aren't. The Steelers are going to go out and die. I think that could be a nice chunk of points that go straight into more Acolyte units, or just something. The same with like potentially the Sanctus. I think you still need a HQ, but maybe you take the banner for +1 to charge. But like the Sanctus I still like. It's just the Primus I think is a little out of place.
Agreed on that a little bit. I'm gonna make you Abaddon, by the way.
Cool. Let's go with it.
You are now Abaddon until you fix your foolish English internet. So let's see how we go. What do we want to replace this with? Because I mean, the biggest thing for me is once you have the Magus and Might from Beyond. Well, I gotta pause on this real quick. Roughly speaking, what is the average amount I have to donate in order to be the top donate for the month? I'm looking to force John to play Crusade. I would love John to play Crusade because I actually really like Crusade, and I will find that out from Siegs. Primus upgrade makes it so he can target any unit non-core. Perfect.
Yeah, that's a once per game though. So you go in for a once per game, like real ones, and it's also weird because he can't. I think he can project through the Nexus, but not onto non-core. I believe. I'm just double checking the strange wording on that. Give me 2 seconds. So yeah, I'll let you work out how much they need to.
Yeah, I just want some more stuff. I want another unit of Jackals, and I'd like some more units of trash. Just Neophytes, Acolytes. I actually would like a unit of Neophytes in here because I actually want the 10 bodies to take up space in certain spots because I want some blockers and I want people to not get in my backfield. You know what I mean? And the thing is that with the blips, you can just keep a bunch of this stuff off board too, and just pop in and just perform actions and stuff like that. It's one of the main things that I love about GSC is their just trash ability to take secondaries, to take your R&Ds, to take your teleport homers, to take the steal objectives from people. I think that that's really big. I mean, they can hit. Don't get me wrong. What just happened? They hit, but I lost all my stuffs here. But they hit very hard. But they I love their ability to just play the game. You know what I mean? Score points. So
yeah, it's. I think you just want, like I say, just little bits and pieces. You just want something like the Ridge Runners. I'm a fan of. I've never quite made them work myself, but they do get you engaged little bits and pieces, which the list loves. You probably want.
But couldn't I do that with more Jackals though? Couldn't I do that with more Jackals? I'd like to see.
But you need some firepower though.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
you've got to clean out those little screens, etc., to get your.
Yeah.
You don't want aberrants charging into.
True, but I kind of want my trash doing that right away. So I also kind of want the pure. I didn't see if the pure strain. I have to look at the list again to make sure that the pure strains had perfect landing on them because I want to be able to move them first turn and get that extra move. Make sure I can get somewhere because I want to kill something and then leave, of course.
Yeah, they're fantastic.
It's just so good. So I want that on them, and I don't know. I have to figure out the finals on this, to tell you the truth, because I don't want to make too many changes because we have a core, we have an aberrant core, and I just want to see a little bit more junk because
a bit of stuff.
Yeah, we just need a little bit more stuff because of, especially with the armies that are very big out there right now, because of the fact that you have. You've got Tyranids, you've got Tau, you've got things of that nature. Just a couple more nonsense units, especially Jackals with their pregame moves and the ability to move just quickly, can really move block, and they can do a really good job. They've got a decent footprint, so you can make people not get to where they need to be. And that's just a huge thing. Something that doesn't kill people is a lot of time one of your MVPs on that, because I think Jackals are amazing. I've played a decent amount of games with them, and I just love them for the pure ability to just be annoying and make people not get the angles. Because there's just a big difference between having these 10 aberrants get shot by a 5-man plasma fusion squad and not getting shot by that same squad. You know what I mean? So
yeah. So I also really like having a unit of 6 Jackals. Just so that turn 1, you go first. You're like, you know what? They're just going to go and do an Atmon data in your deployment zone.
Yeah.
And just get it done. So then you don't have to worry about it, because that's normally the trickier. Yeah, Cult have loads of ways to do it, but as soon as it's done, like, sweet, that's just 12. Easy 12 points there.
I am going to go with Nathan on this. No Kellamorph Cowboy is always a no-go for me. Too cool a model not to have in the army. I'm on that too, just because he's awesome sauce. And I also have when I say I mean Snigs has an awesome Kellamorph model. It's just he just looks crazy. Jesse James is I don't even care if he's that good or not. He looks too cool to not have in my armies. So
yeah, I've got a great one with the it's a Gene Stealer Cult Acolyte with the Commissar's coat and hat, just hiding away, just like, I got you.
a lot of the old models, and if everybody coming in that's semi new to the game or hasn't been playing for a long time, there's a ton of Gene Stealer and Gene Stealer Cult type models from back in the day, because Gene Stealers used to pop out of your opponent's models. It was fantastic. Yes, we've got it 100% green stuff. There is a cowboy hat on him. So, yes. All of the yes.
That must be going way back in the day. I do not remember that.
Oh, that's forever. It's like second or third edition. I can't remember which. It was the special rule was called Sarge is looking funny or something like that. You would actually replace a character with your Gene Stealer, and he would pop out. You submit a list in the Discord in the Fix My List channel, and one of whoever is hanging out with me on that day will pick those lists, and we will put them up and deal with them. So you have to bribe other people besides me. I'm just the old guy. I'm senile, and they know I'm too easy to bribe. You just hand me a wine and a snack, and you pretty much can get whatever you want.
Yeah, chocolate's the easy way.
Yeah, I'm too easily bribable. Like anything, you're like, something to eat and drink. Okay, cool, whatever. Yes, we're actually looking at one of those today specifically, Casey. I'm really excited about this. So let's talk about this so we've spent a decent amount of time on this one without doing a thing. I think we just need a little bit more stuff.
Yeah, I would swap the Primus, and I'd swap 3 Aberrants probably to give you like 150 points, gets you 3 more Acolyte units. It just gives you bits. The only other thing I found with this is secondaries. You've got R&D, you've got Engage. The third secondary, it's a little trickier, so maybe you go another Magus to do a Warp Ritual or something, but that's not great against Nids. Helps into Tower a bit. You don't really want to be doing to the last, because you want your Aberrants doing stuff.
I was just want to say your Aberrants would be your to the last then. So so I don't mind one of the kills. We do put out some serious damage. I do want more. Like I said, I'd like to see 2 Jackals, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, I'm not against Jackals. I've always found they can be great. They can be, yeah. I have looked at lists though where I've just gone, cool, here's 27. Just
true.
Going at you.
It just right now, until they fix the Maliceptor and things of that nature, and because Tau is so indirect is so gone, being able to move block your stonks just raised so high to make you not get to me. So I really want to be able to dictate where my opponent goes. So that's a big deal in that.
One other thing I do quite like is a truck, because you can hide 10 Aberrants in the truck, move that up, and then you can have the stratagem, so the unit behind can't be shot until the closest enemy unit shot. So they have to kill the truck, and then they have to kill the unit, and then they have to kill the other unit. That can be quite interesting. And you can always use it to hide some little bits and pieces running around the board once it's done its job with the Aberrants. But again, that's more a nice personal touch rather than a must.
I'll give you that. I just like to have a little bit more. That's it. A little bit more. In GSC, I just want to have, because I think one of their strengths is just having so much stuff on the board that your opponent can't stop you from scoring points and stealing things from them.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one.
So let's go down to number 2. Hazard Brewing's Metallica list. There is a ton of stuff in here and a big boy. So we've got a Tech Priest Engine Seer, a Skitari Marshal with the Exemplar's Eternity Programmed Retreat. We've got Tech Priest Manipulus with Magi and Raiment of the Technominer. We've got a Cybernetic Datasmith with Logi, 20 Ranger Block, Omnispecs, Firepoint Telemetry Cache, 2 units of 5 Vanguard, 10 units of Corpuscari Electropriest, 7 Rust Stalkers with Tempercopia, 7 Stalkers with Omniscient Mask. I'm unable to speak today.
Words. Yeah.
Exactly. 7 and 7. Then we got 5 Sterilizers, 3 Robots in Disguise with Phosphorus, and a big boy Knights Castellan with Armor of the Sainted Ion, Knight of the Iron Cog, Blessed by Metallica. You know, I didn't think I would, but I kind of really like this Knight right now.
Yeah.
Because you've got enough stuff to smash, but the Castellan picks up big boys, and it picks up big boys from a distance.
Yeah, but the only downside is going second.
Yeah.
It's taking, but Admech, you do have ways to mitigate an act on full. You just have to survive, and then it will do a lot of work to some of the big boys. Like if Nids aren't running Harpies, I don't think it's as bad for it. I think it can then be quite scary.
Yeah, but you just said if Nids aren't running an amazing cheap flyer that has a flat 4 damage weapon and 6 shots.
Yeah, like I've seen plenty of lists like with and without, because then you've got the reverse. If that Nid list goes second and it's a Castellan,
yeah, you just pick it
there's
up.
a good chance of losing one.
100%. Well, let's talk about. I actually like this list quite a bit. I want. Tell you the truth, what are your thoughts on the robots? Because I think I can get more stuff if I don't have robots, and I already have a big Knight Castellan.
I'm always slightly disappointed by them whenever I've used them.
The same. I want to love them, by the way.
Yeah, they have some like really nice options, but they just don't quite do it, and especially in this book when you've got so many options and so many things are good. I think they're the one that just kind of missed the boat a tiny bit.
Because I would like to see maybe another brick, but I'd like to see some infiltrators in here for sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the Electropriest personally.
Yeah,
maybe they could be infiltrators.
That was my second thing. I think that the Electropriest could be just literally swapped out straight up for infiltrators.
Yeah, and I think if you drop in the robots, you can then drop the Datasmith. You probably want the Metallic and Lung in there somewhere.
Agreed on that. We need to put Logi on somebody then if we're losing the Datasmith though. So we just need someone has to just have that. So we have to swap.
You've got an engines here.
I was just about to say, I don't think we had anything popped on the engines here.
Can he take it though?
So, but I'd like to see some more stuff. I mean, I kind of love the idea of this Castellan in here just as a scary threat, but I would like to see a little bit more of a punch. I love Rust Stalkers. I think this Metallic, I think that Admech is woefully underrated right now, especially with its combat. Its combat is so good, especially in Metallica here, when you can get the bonuses to move, you can extend the board, you can get far right away with this army. So I would like to see leaning more into that, though. I would like to see the 10 infiltrators, probably 2 5s, and I kind of want to see another block possibly on that.
I don't know. I think it depends what you want the infiltrators to do and what kind of, like we said before, what terrain you're looking at. So I can see
they can get
infiltrators.
Well, I could go 2. I like to go 2 period. Let's go to. I was just swapping points there first.
Yeah.
But I'd like to beef those out. I wouldn't mind 2 7s, 2 8s, or maybe.
I like 1 5.
Go 1 5 1 8. It's just the thing is that they can find the best terrain. They're 4 deployers. You know what I mean? So
yeah, that's why I like a 5, because a lot of the time your little L's, etc., normally are a bit more open at the rear, and when you're looking at like corner deployments in the corners, stuff like that. So 5 you can normally tuck in nice, whereas 8 is a bit more mid-board threat, find a big ruin, probably off an objective at that point.
I like it. I mean, I really want. I just would like. How about this? We go one big, 1 small, of infiltrators here, and I like that a lot.
Yeah.
And I do kind of like this Knight sitting here. I think it's a centerpiece for his army, anyways, because when I see a Knight Castellan, it's somebody that wants a Knight Castellan. So I think that this, I love the idea of this. In my heart, this makes me super happy watching this just pick up Maliceptors left and right. So I'd love to see it that. It puts out some big damage. It's obviously significantly better at the extended board. I don't want this is going to have problems in Dawn of Wars for sure. But I'd like to see the two infiltrator units. Maybe 8 and a 5 would be great in here. I just love the Ruststalkers.
Yeah, the Rusties are terrifying for a lot of things, especially with things going more combat orientated. With like the NID kind of route, they're getting little bits of shots, but you can go in and you've got the speed to just go, cool, here's some load of wounds and mortals. You get through that 2-up save a little bit. They've got good AP.
Yeah, I love everything about that. I like a lot of things in this army, but I would like to have. What do you think about one more block?
I'm
Where you wanna
not
go
a huge fan of one more block.
Want to go single?
I'd rather see, because I don't think there's as many angles for it anymore. There's not as many key targets. People aren't just sitting multiple units out, and they're a lot more fragile as well now. You can really buff one and make it safe, but the second
Well,
is a lot harder to keep.
if we don't have robots in disguise, we have pieces that we can use. We have points.
I would like a transport in there, because you can hide one Rustalker unit in transport. You can put the Vanguard in it to give them a little bit of extra movement and range. You can get sterilizers in. It just lets you move up the board that one turn, and gives you something that's a little bit more of a bunker, similar to the cult we were saying with the transport. It's 2 activations.
I can get very behind a transport in this army. It would help a lot. And the thing is that transport actually has a ton of nonsense shots on it too.
Yeah.
So I can get really behind that. 12 shots is just 12 shots. So, and the thing is it also opens us up for should we take out? We still want to take. Why can I not talk? They're secondary.
Yeah.
Just hide that transport and just kill more of their vehicles in certain matches for sure, or kill more of their stuff.
How would that work with the knight in it, actually?
I don't know if the knight counts.
Yeah, I'm just double checking. Yeah, it's Adeptus Mechanicus vehicle.
Yeah.
Adeptus Mechanicus
So we just putting the transport in and gives us the option for that. So
yeah, so it is destroyed and friendly vehicle units. So if you killed one and the knight dies, that's one. But he's only down once, and if at all.
Right. So I like that option a lot. Like I said, I really want those 2 infiltrator units in here, one big, one small. I think 2 infiltrator units, one big, one small. Put the transport in there, and I do like a lot of things about this army.
Yeah,
we still have points though. If we take the robots out, yeah, I was just saying we have points because those robots are expensive. If you take the robots out, it gives us a lot of options to put a lot of different things in here.
Yeah,
I mean, that thing is. We could do raiders. Tell you the truth, we could literally, if you take the robots out, we could actually keep the priests in, and put put infiltrators and raiders in here, and the thing, and then keep it especially if he likes the priest. You know what I mean? He's got a big 10-man brick. Maybe they're super cool looking. Again, rule of cool always applies for models. So, but I would like to see the robots. I'd like to know. Is this guy a Knight of Art of War 2? Is this guy Matt? Matt's in Art of War, except for apparently Skype doesn't like him and it's only giving him audio right now and a frozen picture. So
yeah, it might be working in the background. We'd have to check.
I keep checking.
It was a bit iffy.
Yeah, you're currently frozen. I could put a different frozen picture of you up, but
oh, no. I know. I've seen some of those ones you have.
So. But I could go get something else to look at. So let's go with I like this. I'd like to do the robots. I wish he was here right now because I'd like to see the robots out and a lot of other things in. Because we could literally keep everything in this list. Add five infiltrators, 8 infiltrators, a transport, and some raiders in this list. And the list would be a ton better. It has so many more options.
It needs heavy terrain though. It's not one you could take on light boards because you need that terrain to keep all your units safe and bounce from piece to piece. But you've got the tools with Metallica to do so. You've got that range, you've got the speed.
Yeah. Well, you've got a lot of stuff though. I mean, even on a light, I mean, you don't want to play on a light board, but you have options because we have 2 forward deploying units that can just get to wherever the best terrain is. And we've got a big boy, obviously, that can't hide, but we got some stuff to block off too. So we can set up, you know what I mean? Or even on a limited light board, you can set up and harass and do some damage. So, but I like that. I do think that I agree on it. The robots, while I would love to love. Maybe I love your ways, but I want to love the robots, but their price tag. There's so many good units in AdMech that I want more of those in there.
Yeah, so one other thing we could do if you got spare points, just thinking again, is a couple of like just solo Iron Striders, things like that, because that does really help you get the angles on.
Yeah, the Cognus Las Cannons would do a deal to get us long term on that.
Yeah, so that's another option. And then they're so cheap you don't mind throwing them away a little bit to get the angles after a couple of turns of shooting if needed.
Yeah, I like the idea of that too. I mean, there's just options on that. I mean, I would really just, unless you're sold on the robots, taking the robots out adds so many options to this army. I mean, we just put in so much stuff for those points. So it is a big deal on that. Let's talk about some girls. I heard you've played a couple games with some girls before.
Only one or two, like a few.
So this is a martyred lady. So let's talk about it. It's Frosty's Nuns with Guns. We got a Hospitaller with the Book of St. Lucius, a Canonist with the Blade of Sacrifice, Martyr Strength, Emperor's Grace, Celestine and Morven Val together again doing the Bang Brothers. Bang Sisters, as it might be. Three units of 5 Battle Sisters, a Rhino, 10 Sacrosants, a Dogmata, 3 Paragon War Suits with Multi-Meltas, 5 Dominions with Artificer Stormbolters, 2 units of 5 Seraphims with Hand Flamers on them, 2 units of 3 Mortifiers, and 5 Retributors with the 3 Multi-Melter, 1 Flamer combo. So my first thing is that I've been making and playing kind of a lot of games of Bloody Rose, so my mind instantly goes to that because of the fact that the buff for Armor and Contempt is also a nerf for not being Bloody Rose right now, because everybody you come into that has that, you want those extra attacks and AP. And let's be honest, the game's so lethal that I don't think that a lot of the tricks in Martyred Lady are just any better than just having the damage in Bloody Rose, in my opinion. But let's just work on the list itself here without even making it Bloody Rose.
Yeah, I can.
2 times. Is it Nathan? Is it 2 times 2? I apologize on that. It's 2 times 2 mortifiers, not 2 times 3. Well, I'm just giving you extra stuff, man. You're just gonna win those games. Just play with your 2,200 point list. You know what I mean? You got to get that extra mojo. Your opponents will be fine with it. They'll be fine. So I love a lot of things about this. For me, Sacrosanct went too far down in value after with Armor and Contempt and no Bodyguard. I would like to see something else. They're still good, don't get me wrong, but I think there's more value now because things like Repentia with no indirect became the stonks went way up.
Yeah, I really like Sacrosanct still, but I like them after I've taken my 3 Repentia units to be kind of like the next wave of combat and doing stuff.
Well, my other thing is that I really, really, really like Zephyrim with Morven Val. I love, because again, with there not being a bunch of indirect out there, you can have a 5-man unit, an 8-man unit, and get full buffs and zoom out there and just murder face. They can trade up so well. It's something I really like.
Yeah, I think they are fantastic. However, being Martyred Lady, it does it changes their role completely. So they're still good, but I think the Seraphim do a similar job because they don't have the same punch at all.
True. Because of the fact that you're losing attacks, you're losing AP, 100%. So there, all right, whoosh, there you go. I feel bad that I completely devastated your army when you put it in. So 2 6 units of 6 Seraphim, and I immediately put 5 Mortifiers down. Brad, you suck at life so bad today.
Yeah, you are. It's the age. We'll say that.
There we go.
But yeah, I'm liking the core of it. The Paragon War suits, I'm never quite sold on. However,
Telling
I
you,
do like them.
I just got done. We were playing them last night. I was actually doing a game last night and using those Paladin war suits, and they were surprisingly good. They're so much better than they used to be with again Armor of Contempt, and you have the multi meltas on them. I really like them. I obviously like him Bloody Rose, but where he's going to a small scale tournament. He likes our Martyred Lady. I do like the Martyred Lady Canoness. That lady is
she's terrifying.
Just insanity.
Terrifying.
Yeah, it's just spewing out mortal wounds. So if I was going to make this the best that I could make it, I do really like Bloody Rose. But if you're down with our Martyred Lady and that's your jam, let's just talk about what we could put in here.
I still really like Martyred Lady because it still has loads of cool tricks.
It has tricks, but it doesn't have as much bang. Let's keep it. You're gonna keep it as our Martyred Lady anyways. Let's do that. Yeah. So let's. What do you think about 10 sacrosancts in this list? I kind of want some Repentia in this list.
I am a huge Repentia fanboy. I would never leave without 3 units personally. I just think they give you so much. They give you that fight on death. They give you all the weirdness that they do. Extra miracle dice, which are less useful now because you're getting more anyway. But it just lets you kind of snowball those dice early.
Oh, 100%.
Take out those key units.
It's so big now because because of no indirect, it snowballs a lot. 100% Nathan on the fact that you're Seraphim. I love that you're here for your list, by the way. It makes me super happy. I love 6-girl Seraphim units, just because exactly for that deadly descent, and then you R&D, you get points and you get to shoot something. Fantastic. So
yep, I can't complain about those. The Canoness is interesting with Emperor's Grace. One weird little thing I've tried in the past is taking the, I'm just going to try and find the name of it, but there's another blessing. Oh yeah, it is Emperor's Grace. Sorry, I was mixing up word of the Emperor's Grace.
I was just about to say, I was trying to figure out which one you were going to take besides that. I really like Emperor's Grace.
Yeah, I like it. Sorry, I was thinking it was Word of the Emperor and it had a different name. It's been a while.
Do you have let's pull the book up on it because I want to.
Yeah, I have it here.
If how many sacrosancts, Repentia for sacrosancts is what I want. Also, I don't know how sold I am on mortifiers right now. Just because we haven't got the other things that I'd love in here. Obviously, Zephyr a little bit better in a different list, but I would like to see a decent amount of Repentia in here. They just have so much punch value. Vols I
think if you're taking the war suits, what I like to use them as a lot of the time is kind of an outflanking retributor unit. So if you're spending CP to outflank them, you're probably less likely to be spending more CP outflanking mortifiers and such, because sisters do have some really good strats and love those command points.
Submit list to Discord, the Art of War Discord. There is a Fix My List channel. What do you guys see mortifiers doing in this list? Mortifiers have a good volume of attacks, and they have a volume of shots and a volume of attacks. I'm not against mortifiers. I'm just very, very pro Repentia and Zeph. It's not that I think they're bad. I'm a stickler of an old man for the most efficient bang for their point for attack and stuff like that. And you get that with those 2 other units. Morven Vol is such a huge force multiplier. With those units, you get such crazy efficiency. So effectively, when I'm playing the sisters, I want to Morven Vol buff something, send it out as a missile, kill something, fire and forget, steal my stranglehold, peel something off, and then basically do that every single turn. I want 5 turns of a unit that can launch out with full Morven Vol buffs, kill something. I don't care. I trade it up, preferably a lot of points a lot of times, and get big stuff on that.
I've got a crazy suggestion for you here, Brad.
Hit me.
What if you swap Celestine for Repentia?
I don't actually hate that at all because obviously you can't do the same kind of shenanigans they used to do with her with Bodyguard. I'm 100%. I will. You shall not pass on leaving. Where Morven Val is my jam in Sisters. She's so freaking good. I have to.
Val is.
Yeah. I love her, but I would like to have more. I would really like to see 2 units of Repentia and a unit of Zephin here in this battalion fits fine. It would feel great.
You would then need a Repentia Superior as well for a few more points.
True.
But she doesn't make a slot, so that's fine.
I was just say she's slotless and she's cheap, so
yeah. But yeah, I think at the moment there's 3, 4, 5, 6, almost like a third of your army in those 4 characters.
Yeah, I'd like to have. I wouldn't mind seeing
and Dogmata, but I think you need the Dogmata.
Dogmata's she's too cheap. I was to say she's good. She's got tricks. She's got too many tricks.
Yeah, especially when you're Martyred Lady, because you can make the 2 units obsec. So you're like, cool, this unit over here, you've got that either flank. You don't have to have everything near the Dogmata to be obsec. You spend your CP, that Repentia unit goes, cool, I'm obsec, you're dead, and come get me.
I'm not gonna lie, I'd love to see either 558 or 885 in my Repentia.
That's my 885 is my normal go-to, but I'd be okay with 88 on this.
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
You've got the Mortifiers, which they do a job. You don't need the 3rd Repentia unit. They give you that punch.
I'm just looking at what I'm doing because, like, I try to think of my lists. Anytime we go through when you're making a list, what I like to look at in my list is what am I doing? What am I trading with on turn 1, turn 2, turn 3? And then I kind of check down, this is going to do this, this is going to do this. So what am I taking the middle of the board with? What am I taking on this? You know what? The funny thing, what I actually like right now, I wouldn't even mind 1 more unit of Battle Sisters, just because with Armor and Contempt, you can stick them out there and they can just take things. So I don't hate the 3/5s at all, just because of that fact. Sisters are actually, with the Armor and Contempt and Indirect being, that was the problem, is that between the two, is they used to just get picked up by Indirect. They're just not doing that now. You can hide.
You could even go the Novitiates rather than another unit.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was gonna. That was where I was gonna go. There is, I would like just more bodies. They just to slam them forward. He's been playing Celestian, playing as a huge threat and obscuring her, placing her in an objective with light cover. So Armor Contempt light cover, -1 damage is observed for her. She has a good distraction. It's just a lot of points.
I love her, and I would miss her in lists, but I just think you get so much, and every other unit kind of has its place there. It's all doing something, and I think her swapping for something that can launch to midboard and take the units out, just do it in a little bit more reliable way, is probably what I'd lean towards.
Yeah. Any thoughts on Junith to take AP -1 on 2+? I don't hate Junith, but she got nerfed from her previous incarnation, so it makes me a little sad.
She was amazing.
Yeah.
But, I just think all the other characters just outshine her personally, because you're gonna take a Val, you're gonna take the Canoness because she's terrifying, and you want a Dogmata. Like the Hospitalier, I could never get to work personally. She just didn't fit my style. However, I can 100% see her working and see her worth.
I've had a couple people like just live and die by the Hospitaller. So, no, you're good, Matt. It's everybody's dude. You guys put as many questions and everything as you want. I love to interact. It makes it so much easier for us to do these. It's so much easier. I can see this in Novitiates, Nathan, in this. Novitiates work better in the Bloody Rose just for the pure spam of attacks and an extra AP. So I could see that. I would like to see at least 2 Repentia in here for sure.
Yeah, I think you could replace the 2 Mortifiers with 2 smaller Repentia units and just have 1 squad of Mortifiers, but then you don't really have much ranged output because you've got your Melters coming on the side. Or
it becomes a different.
Give you something.
It's a different list though, because you could come off the side or you can just push behind cover. It depends on what we're playing on. What type boards are you usually playing on? To be honest, is that because there's a big difference in if we're building this for GW or player placed and static terrain like the Dallas Open or the London Open and things of that nature.
Yeah.
It becomes a significantly different army. And the Mortifier, the thing is that I lean so heavy into infantry models more than I do vehicles because I can just cut the corners. I can just move through. I like being able to Kool-Aid Man breachable terrain is such a big deal.
Yeah, I don't think that's too bad in this list though, because if you are outflanking the Paragons to come on and be a ret unit outflanking, pump your melters and something, charge something else, they get around it. The Mortifiers, 2 squads of 2, they're small bases, they're not really getting in the way too much. I think there's not enough.
I do like
the stuff that's getting in the way.
The vehicles hanging out with Morven Vol, the Paragon Morsuits hanging out with Vol are 100% awesome too. Nathan's right on that too. Paragons getting Vol buffs does delete vehicles.
Yeah.
Player paced or heavy skirring maps. If you're playing those, man, I want more infantry then. I want at least 2 Repentia units. If you're playing on player placed or heavy, for sure we need more. We need more girls punching stuff because you can go terrain piece to terrain piece. Repentia tear things up in the current meta.
They're the best unit in the book in my eyes. I've always been a massive fan of them, and they've always massively over-delivered. Even like a small squad of 5, you sometimes at key moments you'd pay those points previously just to get the miracle dice when you need it.
It's such a big deal now because fight on death, multi-damage weapon, you know what I mean? It's just so good in infantry. Typhus, yeah, and that's a big deal too. The AP3 is a huge deal. As a new Sisters player, what advice do you give to starting your collection? Get Morven Vol and a bunch of Repentia and Zephyrum.
And some Sisters and...
Yeah, you need Sisters. Yeah, you need regular Sisters. I think that I like to have at least 1 unit of Seraphim in every army for just shenanigans and my last rod and stuff like that. So
yeah,
they look really cool too, though.
I've normally used the Zephyrim, but I can see like you take Seraphim,
but you can do both.
They're cheaper.
Well, there's cheaper, and you can also you can shoot something and then do the actions, which makes me happy.
Yeah, that's really nice.
So I like that a lot. I would just like to see some Repentia in this list. I would probably take out the character, tell you the truth. And while I love the way Sacrosants look, point for point, because they're just not getting armor and contempt because they have a shield, you know what I mean? Makes me want to take more other girls that just beat on stuff.
But you see, they do still have just that 2-up base save. So if you're getting shot by AP nothing, and Sisters normally do just die to weight of dice rather than
true. I mean,
special.
Just sitting in cover is strong. You know, the thing is, Nathan, I would really like to see Zephyrim in this, especially because we have Morven Vol, because it's just something that can go to the middle and clear out. A lot of times people just put nonsense up there. You'd be surprised how much stuff you can kill with even a 5-man Zephyrim squad. So, and there's exactly, and it's good AP all around. That's the thing is that if you have Repentia in here, if you have Zephyrim in here, you have AP that's gaining past armor and contempt, but also you're really scaring bugs and Tau with that because you're putting multi-damage from the Repentia in there, for instance, with a good AP. It's taking everybody down to their invuls mostly, so you're really putting a hurt on them. Jesus, I love that. This might be the best question of the day. Dan,
I've seen it.
As a Custodes player, what advice would you give me to properly and safely store an army away for a while? You guys did get a Y nerf. That was way too much. That was the nuclear option. You're like, we could do this, or we could jump off the top ring rope and put a beating on those. And the thing is that Matt, you were 100% right in that. As I play a ton of pointy elves, Zephyrim terrify me. All of that first GSC list, you know what I mean? There's lots of things that Zephyrim just are terrifying to because you put a volume of good AP attacks and just pick up whatever your opponent's trash is. And you do it consistently because Vol exists. So
solid AP. You don't care about damage reduction because they're just going to get enough through. But like the Sacrosants do the same kind of thing. They're just a slower unit.
That's my picture though. Is that you have Repentia that are slightly faster than the Sacrosants because they can also advance and charge. Then I have the Zephyrim who are obviously way faster than them. So I would just rather have more of them. That's just a personal playstyle. I'd rather have more of those units and not the brick.
I think sometimes though you do need a unit that can just go, okay, I can sit in the open for a turn, and I'm going to take way more firepower than I should. Because sisters don't have that. That's something they struggle with.
True.
You've lost Celestine Bodyguard, which used to be your go-to.
Correct.
Like, what unit there can sit on an objective in the open?
Don't get me wrong. I still like Sacrosanct. I just want more of the other stuff. If Sacrosancts are kind of for me right now of the, do I have these other things in my list? Yes. Sacrosancts then go in because they do have that ability and they look cool. Just so
yeah, they are just good. But like I say, I think if you swap a character for 2 Repentia units, maybe swap 1 Seraphim for Zephyrim, maybe even one of the Mortify squads, because you can get a Seraphim squad or a Zephyrim squad.
This is a very description. This is Matt Robertson. It's Robo. He is a fantastic man, and you would be able to see him if Skype didn't make him look currently like he may or may not be having some mental problems. So,
no, that's just my cosplay.
you were amazing on that. So, but I completely lost my train of thought on this. I was very excited. We played some games. I coach 2 sisters players right now, and we just did a game until pretty late last night where I looked over. We had sisters playing last night and played a good game on TTS, and I was looking over that, and I played a couple more and just looked over the list, turn by turn. And I just think sister stocks went through the roof when Indirect went away, because that was the biggest thing is that you were losing your Pencha, your Zephyrim, your whoever's, your regular battle sister squads. You were just getting picked up by Indirect. Now we don't have that, and then we added Armor of Contempt. You know what I mean? So I feel that the army just went from, man, it feels, you get those frustrating games where you're like, oh, cool, airbursting fragmentation. I'm just going to go ahead and flip the table, and now it feels that you're so strong and you have so many options, but I want those options in this list.
Yeah, I think that was huge going away. The extra miracle dice every turn. I used to be okay because I had the secondary was just an auto 12, but using miracle dice for weird things. Getting another one every turn means you can still do that, but you have enough dice to control the tempo and control the flow of the game a lot more. You can be a lot more aggressive because you can just guarantee things are happening. Everything's a little bit tougher. No custodes is huge as well. Just all the turning off rerolls.
Turning off rerolls.
That was a big hit.
My thing is you can punch up so hard by Vol pointing at something and sending it in, but when you're looking at your list, I really feel that you need to look at your list and go, what is Vol buffing each and every turn, and who is taking the middle? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think if you put Tomb Repentia in this, then she's got options. You've got the Rets, you've got the Paragons, you've got herself for the first turn with the range, you've got the Repentia, and maybe 1 Seraphim for Zephyrim.
Yeah, I would like to see that. I mean, we got a slot, though, because I don't know. If we took out a Mortifier and we took out Celestine, we actually have place for Zephyrim and 2 Repentia and a Repentia Superior and some points left over.
No, it gets quite tight.
We have...
You get like 320-ish, and you've got 16 times 14, so 224 is your... Are
we doing 2 8s? We're going to go... Can we do 2 8s of 5 and the Superior?
That's just 2 8s at the moment. If you're tagging the Superior in, I'm just going to double check her points to make sure I get it right. It's been a while since I've written a list rather than just had it written already. 40, yep. So that's 264, and that's just 2 8s in the Superior. So if you want to add the Zephyrim in on top of that, that's basically all your points gone. And
I don't know, that list seems really good.
Yeah, that's 350, so you maybe need to drop like 1 Seraphim to a 5.
I like having...
Like 1 Sacrosanct maybe. Maybe you drop a couple of Sacrosants to make up the extra points.
It just, for me, I just like having that. That just feels so much beefier. Put that on the table for us. Are you going to play this? Do you have any chance you have a tournament coming up? I'd really love to see how you're doing with this. Cannon, that's true. I mean, it definitely is a turn where you put it on the Canonist because she just goes nuts. So, but I'd like to see you buff those Perpetua. You know what I mean? Because of the fact that your tanks and stuff, people are going to hide. You're going to have to put those on Repentia or Zephyrum to take away those mid-board objectives. People are just going to try to hide because I'm just not getting shot by Paragons my first turn or two. Depending, especially if you're playing on heavy or player place terrain, I'm just going to take my objectives from behind something, and that's where the Repentia advancing and the Zephyrum just jumping out are such a big deal because the best indirect in the game is a fist to the face. You're surprised.
It gives you so many threats and so many options then as well. That you go, cool. What do I need this turn? Oh, you've left something I can shoot. There we go. Val, boom, dead. Or oh, I can't quite see anything. Here we go. I'm still going to get you. It's like even the Repentia, I found they're horrendously survival when people don't expect it, and if they have to charge him, you're just like win double value.
Yes, you literally go, oh, you killed me. Oh, I have a thing called Fight on Death. You're still dead. The Fight on Death is so big, and I think it's underutilized because when you make people come to you with that and have to pick you up by melee, you can actually steal 3 points from a lot of times because you kill the unit that killed you, and then all of a sudden they don't have something for Stranglehold. It's so big.
And you get 2 miracle dice.
Exactly.
One for killing them or one for dying.
Exactly. It's a big turnaround if all of a sudden you're like, I have 2 miracle dice and I stop them, and gave a 3-point swing. Super big. Uh-oh. Art of War 40K. If you could only play one army to one trick, what would it be? If I'm going to make it, well, I've played Eldar for off and on for 22 years, so that is my go-to. What is your come back to all the time, Army Matt?
I think it's got to be Sisters. Like since I even ran them in the old, well, I ran the old book and then the old.
Didn't you
old?
You ran them in the White Dwarf.
Yeah, I've had plenty of variations of Sisters with different aspects. I used to love the old Miracle Dice. Oh look, I've got a 2-up. Yeah, I can shoot you in the movement phase. Brilliant, things like that. There's so many little bits and pieces you could do, but I think the way they are at the moment, it's a fantastic book. I'd love to see the Celestian points come back down a little bit.
Yes.
Because they're not paying the bodyguard premium anymore, but they're still value for points. I'm amazed Repentia haven't gone up slightly in points, but don't tell anyone that.
You shush your face. They finally come back. We got a super chat from Matt O. Thanks for chatting. How are you guys planning for Tyranids when playing down in power level? Everybody's playing down in power level if you're not playing Tyranids right now. So the biggest things for Tyranids are planning. Take a look at Know Your Enemy because I did a bunch of stuff. Know Your Enemy 2 was my favorite because I did a lot of spacing. And it is a lot of that because there's a couple things that can happen to you when you're playing Tyranids. One, you need to move block the big bugs like Maliceptors because you just can't have them occupying this space that is their mortal wound area. You have to keep them places so that way you can still take your objectives. The other thing is you have to start measuring out how far things like the Harpy can go and especially the Winged Hive Tyrant can go because you can't let him overrun back to somewhere that he can hide again and do the same thing. You need to bring him out. Get the back of his base. Exactly. Get him out of there. So either he has to leave or you can then deal with him the next turn. So I'm okay with him leaving. You can't really do anything about encircling, but I don't want something to overrun and then something else to encircle. So that's a big deal.
So we are doing a Tyranid clinic next Wednesday. So people can drop any questions about how other armies play into it for stuff like that on the Discord. That's myself and John doing that. But I do think, like Brad said, they control the board well. If you can stop them getting into those spaces, keep them pinned back, so buy yourself time in the game and space on the board. So rather than having that 12-inch bubble after Maliceptor's moved and advanced up the board, if you're pinning it in somewhere behind the ruin because it's hidden so it doesn't get shot early on, all of a sudden the rest of your army gets the space to go score objectives. Nids are horrendous, but they're not super fast outside of like Ravenous the Hive Tyrant. The speed, a lot of it is infantry based or a couple of Harpies. And if you can deal with those, you can get points out of them. They're going to struggle to come and get you off your back objectives if you can kind of keep them stuck where they don't want to be.
A big deal in that, especially if you can extend certain things out and other things have to stay. It's so much easier to deal with an army if things are overextended. Even if they're unbelievably tough, you can just put all of your resources into something, pick it up, and get very little in threat in return back. Sally's, I actually like to have Sally's right now. It's just you have to change your army around quite a bit. I will talk about that later. So I got yelled at because I kept talking about Sally's all the time in the Marines, and everybody wanted me to talk about more other Marines. That's my fault. I just got excited about it. I'm building a craft road list. What is most likely to get nerfed? I think the nerfs are already come with indirect and stuff. They may get some shenanigans with Bahar off of the Hawks, but most of their stuff is going to stay as is or get very lightly touched in nerfs. If I were going to be a betting man on that, the Harlequins already got nerfed. Craft World's a very, very good army. It's an army that the wheels can fall off at any time, so I don't see them getting nerfed hard on any one unit. I could be wrong, but I doubt it.
Maybe Hawks.
I was just about to say the Baharath. By the way, I need to throw this out because I need the rant because it bugged me so much. Because they literally put out an FAQ that said he can bounce twice in a turn, and I'm like, yeah, he can't because Battle Focus doesn't allow you to charge. So the only thing the FAQ said is don't cheat with Baharath. I was just like, okay, thanks.
Just clarifying it.
I also won't move my models 2 extra inches. You're like, so. For the Discord link, I don't know on that. We have the link? Siegs just gave us a link. Matt, do you have it?
Yeah, give me 2 seconds. I will find that because it's.
We'll put that in chat.
Yeah, it's a little guide to it.
So we've got the thing. We're just the pretty faces that we put in front to talk about stuff. We know how to move models and do things. So I'm excited about the list, guys. I'm thinking about. I don't know how you guys feel about this. I'm going to try to start to pick the lists much earlier and then put them up in one of the chats. Probably that which list we're going to use. So hopefully, whoever's list we pick can be involved in the live chat discussion of the list because that helps a ton. You being here was huge. We get to bounce back and forth. Also, it helps with how you play. You know what I mean? So I never want to change a core concept of a list. You know, whether or not I agree with that list or not, let's make the best out of what you want to do with the army. So you never want to change what you're trying to do.
Yeah, I can't disagree more with that. It's someone's list that's there, unless they come going, I'm stuck, just rip it apart, go to shreds, I just want something for the faction. If that's someone's style, everyone has different play style. Yeah. So like Brad was saying, this list, he's like, I wouldn't get the best out of the Hospitalier personally, but I can see the value, and if people can make it work, it's their way of playing fantastic.
100%. It's just you want to make the most optimized version of how you like to play your army. You know, so that's what we're trying to do. So it does help a lot when we get those help with those questions, the answers, and everything with it. So
I have just dropped a link to. It's not to the Discord itself, but it's a guide of how to get into the Discord because you have to make sure you're signed up to the War Room. It's one of the perks of being a member of the War Room. So we do a lot of the YouTube content, but then there's a lot behind there as well.
Let's rock it. Well, everybody, thanks for hanging out with us. As usual, I run of the mouth because that's what I do. Matt, thank you for joining me in voice.
Abaddon space, yeah.
Abaddon space.
Well, it's a shame we didn't do you didn't put a sister's picture up instead, but yeah, hopefully
I feel bad about that because I could have I have a Celestine pick like right away that I could have jammed in here.
Oh, you have so many pictures you could have used.
I have all of the stuffs. So everybody, thanks for hanging out with us, and we'll see you soon.